Here in Charm City. And after a tough loss last night, Buck hands the ball back to Jason Hamill to get the Birds back in the win column and take the opening series from the Twins. It's the final game of the opening weekend at Camden Yards, and it starts right now. It's the Orioles on Masson, and it is a day game and a beautiful day to have one here on this Sunday at the Yard. The Twins and the Orioles splitting the first two games, so a series win is what both of these ball clubs are after here at Camden Yards today. Well, all the excitement of the opening weekend will come to a conclusion here this afternoon, and the Orioles hope it'll be a 2-1 stand. The Orioles opening up here on what has been a glorious weather weekend, as Buck Showalter was talking about. They've got one more opener to get under their belt. That'll be tomorrow at Fenway Park, and then things will kind of settle down and get into the grind of the regular season. It was a great opening day here for the Orioles. Let's take a look at how the first two games went and the ceremonies that kicked it off. Remembering, of course, Earl Weaver. The ball put on the mound with nobody throwing that first pitch, and then Davis with the home runs. He has had a 5-game hit streak. Tremendous in the RBI department. Didn't get the homer yesterday. Jones has got a plus 5 streak, 5 for 9 in the series. He's been on fire. Matt Wieters has done a great job at the plate and behind it. 2 big caught stealings against 2 very speedy Twins. And Manny Machado has shown the leather at third base, just as the Orioles had hoped for. He's continued right where he was last year. So for the Orioles, a lot of positives going on, especially with the offense, but the D's been there too.
Well, it really has. And again, so if you're Jason Hamill, and you know, the last time you pitched early in the year against Minnesota Twins, had a 2-hitter. In fact, his first 6 games last year were 2 runs or less. The one thing, you know, they're going to get you runs. I mean, every game 5 runs or more. They've either been able to take the lead or come from behind. But again, the big difference to me, obviously, is, you know, the extra inning games, the 1-run games last year, Gary, but they won 30 series last year. The year before, they only won 16. The year before, they only won 69 games. They went to 93. So these games are critical. Not that the Twins aren't a good team. They seem much improved, but they're going to get your number 1 guy against a guy that's really going to make his major league debut as a starter. They need to win this ball game. And today it is Autism Day here at the ballpark. And Jim, that obviously has special meaning for you with a young man in your life. Well, Spencer, my stepson, actually, Karen, our stage manager, were upset. She went out to look at the statues, and there are 6 of them. And Spencer actually introduced me. I get a little teary thinking about it, but ran out on the field. So, you know, it's a very important day. B.J. Surhoff, who, you know, terrific player, great guy. You know, his son Mason, they have the Pathfinders. This is about Autism Speaks, and it's about getting an awareness, Gary. So, you know, 1 out of every 54 boys has autism. And often we are asked the pins that both Jim and I are wearing today, these blue pins. These are the pins that recognize autism, and the Orioles have set up special suites today where the families can go if they want to, and there are special ceremonies before the game. And great to know, because the numbers you were pointing out yesterday, autism is of major concern right now and discovering to be more than perhaps was thought in the past. Well, it really is. And, this is the puzzle, and because they don't really know what causes neurological disease. I was listening to an interview that B.J. Surhoff did, and he was talking about how, it's 24/7, and it's also all children are different. So, you know, it's something I think we need to be aware of. We talked about it a little bit last night. It affects all of us and some friends or family or whatever. So, it's great to see. And not only here, but it's going to be out throughout Major League Baseball. So it is an awareness that it will be wonderful if they can find somewhere down the road a cure. All right. We will have the final game here, this 3-game homestand. This is a tough one for the Orioles the early part of the season because they started on the road, played 3, come back home, played just 3. Then you got to go back on the road for the 6 games. This is not, obviously, a very long homestand. And Buck Showalter was talking about not only that, but you got all these games all over the place that have started at 1:30, 3 o'clock.
o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7:30. 2 o'clock tomorrow in Boston. There's no regular schedule that the players have been able to get into at the start of the season.
Right, and I think though, if you go talk to Ron Gardenhire, the Twins, he thinks this is a more mature ball club, even though they have some young players like their center field Aaron Hicks. But the Orioles, they know what it is to grind it out for 162 games, and this is a grind out day. You got home at midnight on Thursday and you're already on the road. So, but again, it's a very big game for both teams, but especially the Orioles.
All right, that'll do it here. We are ready to go with the first pitch. Orioles take the field, and when we come back, another big house is be on hand for this game, perhaps another 40,000 or more. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Hyundai's Let's Go sales event now through April 30th. And they settle in here at Camden Yards as we get ready for this third game. Take a look at our train game time temperature, 62 degrees, and may get up to 70 before this afternoon is done. Train is celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Jason Hamill on the mound taking his warm-ups, and let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Twins. It'll be Hicks, Mauer, Willingham, Morneau, Domet, Plouffe, Wilkin Ramirez first appearance in the series, Dozier and Florimon. Trevor Plouffe, you see the season so far for him.
And take a look at the 29-year-old right-hander Jason Hamill, 8-6 last year, had the knee problems. That's well, he is the right guy. The Orioles scheduled him as their #1 starter. Pitched 6 innings down in Tampa. Past success. He's been very good against the Twins. 2-0 lifetime. And again, the 2-hitter in early April last year. And daytime with Jason Hamill. 3-0, 3-13, 1-0 this year already, if you want to count the game down in Tampa under the roof. So instead of the nighttime with David Letterman, and what does David Letterman say every time? He goes, "I'll be better next time," and that's what Jason Hamill said after his first start. Even though he got the win, he wasn't happy. Thought he should have gone deeper. Thought he should have commanded his stuff. And his stuff: fastball, really good curveball, slider, and an occasional changeup. And it's all about getting the ball on the ground. Only 9 home runs last year in his 20 starts.
All right, we'll see how he fares here today, as the Twins have played some pretty good baseball, maybe better than most had thought to start this season. There are no undefeated teams after a week in Major League Baseball, and Minnesota and the Orioles both coming in with the 3-2 records so far on the year. Hamel will go to work against the speedster at the top of the order, who would like to have a better start going, as Hicks, their center fielders, had an 0 for 10 in this series and has picked up only 1 hit on the year. Switch hitter will be followed by Mauer and Willingham, and the pitch will be taken for a strike, and we're underway in this Sunday.
Yeah, Jason Hamel, the big difference last year, I mean, curveball over at any time, but a two-seamer that really got the ball on the ground.
No play on that one. Back into the seats for a souvenir, and he gets ahead on the count 0-2.
Yeah, I met Aaron Hicks for the first time today, and I said, "How's it going?" I said, he said, "I'm a little anxious." And again, the numbers show that over at least over the course. I mean, 1 for 22, and again, almost striking out half the time. And this is where he's had problems, because Hamel's got a great curveball, and there it is, and he hangs it, but he gets away with it. He just freezes him.
So drops back retired on the strikeout. Hamel, who had 2 in his first outing, gets 1 here.
Yeah, it stays up a little bit, but again, it's a bright day. Jason Hamel's what, about 6'7", and it's like a sky hook. You're thinking you're playing in the NBA with Jabbar.
So 1 away, and here is Mauer. Joe Mauer, a 1 for 10 in the series. Mauer struck out 3 times on Saturday, and amazingly, it's only the 7th time in his career that he has had 3 strikeouts in a ball game, covering 1,070 games. And that will be fouled straight back in a big cut.
Yep. Well, the Orioles starters, when we talk about Arrieta and Chris Tillman, have struggled a little bit, but they have made great pitches to Joe Mauer, and sometimes it's just the way it is. I mean, obviously you have a lot of respect for him. You talked about a couple of batting titles, won a Gold Glove, had a great spring with a WBC, and also in regular spring training had over 400.
Mauer with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Mauer against the Orioles, coming in with a .322 lifetime batting average against the Orioles. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit into left field. Where else? 1-out single.
Let's take a look at the Oriole defense behind Jason Hamel, Reimold, Jones, and Markakis. McLeod with the lefty pitching, getting the afternoon off initially. Machado, Hardy, Casilla, Alexi in the lineup for the first time starting. And Chris Davis, a great offensive start. And Taylor Teagarden doing the catch and throw guy. Matt Wieters initially getting the afternoon off.
And Josh Willingham with a 2 for 7. He's done well against Hamel, going 5 for 12 with a home run against him. And that pitch is in there for a strike. For Willingham, he's picked up 4 hits and 17 at-bats on the year. Has some power. Mauer's not going to go anywhere at first base, taking a very short lead. Hamel really moving it along here at the start of the ball game. He's getting the ball and throwing it back in. Against Minnesota in the ball game pitch last year with that 3-1 win, the 1 run, 2 hits, 8 innings. Jim was talking about carrying that no-hitter into the 8th inning, taking care of that early here with a base hit by Mauer, the second batter up. 1-1 delivery and a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Yeah, you look at his numbers last year, the big difference again, that 2-seamer, almost 2-to-1 ground balls to fly balls. Great way to pitch anywhere, but especially in this park. And with Willingham, you'd love to have him hit one of your infielders, maybe turn a double play, 1 pitch, 2 outs, get out of the inning.
Mauer back to the bag at first. Orioles had a successful season against the Twins last year that started with a sweep in the opening series, ended up 5 wins, 2 losses against the Twins on the year. Twins will not be coming back to Camden Yards this season. The Orioles will have a visit to Minnesota. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and a high fastball he went after and didn't get it. Foul tipped into the mitt.
Yeah, throw it right by him. You bring it down, he's real dangerous. He but just up in the zone. Nice little snag by Taylor Teagarden. Looked like he might have tipped it a little bit. Yeah, he does, and somehow he's able to hang on. Don't see that very often.
Now Mauer with 2 down at first base for Morneau. Morneau's gone 3 for 8 with an RBI here in the series. 7 for 18 on the year. Got his first RBI of the season here in the ball game yesterday. Morneau's been tearing up the right-handed pitching early on in the first week, hitting .538 against right-handers, the 4th best average against righties. 1-0 delivery to him, and that's going to go to second on the short hop, played by Casilla, and a good first inning for Hamlin. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Orioles lineup coming up. There it is. Of course, you got to have that face to go with it in order to make it work. That's why it looks so good. That's a 2-seamer, actually. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Markakis, Machado, and Davis. Jones, Pierce, and Hardy. Reimold, Teagarden, and Casilla. I think Markakis off to a real good start.
Take a look at our scouting report. Well, he's a lefty. Pedro Hernandez, youngest twin since Pedro Francisco Liriano, and then spring forward had a great spring. Didn't pitch a lot of innings, didn't give up a run. 10 hits in 11 innings, and control artist in the minor leagues, about 4-1 strikeouts versus walks. So it throws a lot of strikes.
And starts out right here with one. Markakis in the leadoff spot for this game with a 4-game hit streak. He has gone 6 for 9 in the series. Left-hander with the 0-1 delivery and a breaking ball that also is in there for a strike. The minor league numbers, he's pitched in only 1 major league game. Minor leagues, last 219 innings in the minors, lefties hit 249, right-handers 278. And a swing and a miss, and maybe that's why the lefties can't get to him right there.
Well, maybe you won't need a defense, but they have one this afternoon. Willingham, Hicks, and Ramirez. Wilkin Ramirez gets a chance. Parmalee had a big night. He's on the bench to start. Plouffe, Floorman, Dozier, Morneau, and then the Gold Glove winning catcher. Not last year, but he's won a couple. Joe Mauer.
Manny Machado.
That was pretty impressive. A couple of strikes and blowing away breaking ball.
Left-hander. Only 23 years old, as we said, and Buck Showalter, without being asked, commented on what Jim was mentioning in his pregame press conference today. He said, have you looked at his walk to strikeout ratio? He said, take a look at it. It's pretty impressive. He was saying that to all of the press people who were there, and it is. Last season in the minors, the 8-4 mark, 65 strikeouts, 22 walks. 2-0 delivery on the way from the left. He swung out and missed.
Yeah, and again, there's a fastball count to a young, good fastball hitter, and Manny can't quite get to it. He'll cut it in, and Maybe that's his natural movement. He's way over on the third baseline, so it gives him a direct line. A lot of lefties like to do that. And then he's got a screwball changeup that goes away from righties.
Close. That'll miss inside, maybe a little low. And the count will go to 3 balls and 1 strike. Manny Machado 3 for 8 with an RBI here in the series. The Orioles come in on the year with a .315 batting average. They've outscored opponents 34-26 on the year. Out-homered them 6-4. All of the Orioles home runs have had somebody on base so far, and they have used home runs for about half the runs that they have scored. Led, of course, by Chris Davis, who's going to move up in the order against a lefty and is going to hit third. Machado got one up in the air that he could put up in the air. Center fielder Hicks will get it, though, and there are 2 down. Here are the numbers that Buck Showalter was talking about. Now, these are minor league numbers at the bottom right there. That strikeout to walk ratio in particular is what Showalter was very impressed by.
And he's already probably impressed Jim Presley, the Oriole hitting instructor, and the whole bench. His slew of hitters by throwing Machado a 3-1 changeup, and he threw it right on the corner, and then all of a sudden you don't know what he's going to throw.
And Davis will take the pitch inside for a ball. Chris did pick up an RBI, even though he did not get another home run yesterday. 17 runs batted in for him, 6 in this series. He's hit in all 5 of the Oriole games, and with 2 down, he's up with nobody on. You see the batting average leaders with Davis on top. These are in the majors. Jones, Frazier, Cruz, Segura. And a ground ball to the hole, knocked down Dozier. Boy, can he do that. He has shown an ability to have some really good range here at second base in this series. So after 1 here at Camden Yards, no score. The Luna double and get your second room of flooring free. 877-241-LUNA. Part of the big house on hand here in the Sunday afternoon. Before the Orioles head out, we'll be on the air tomorrow afternoon for the opener at Fenway Park. As the Red Sox come home, it'll be 1:30 for O's Extra, 2 o'clock for the ball game. Wei and Chen and Clay Buchholz are the scheduled starters in that game. Here's Ryan Doumit. Doumit has both caught and filled the DH role. He's got a 3-game hit streak, 3 for 8 with an RBI in the series, and will foul that one away.
And he's hit a lot of different pitches in a lot of different places. Pulled the fastball down the line last night for a double, went to left center for a double, hit a changeup up the middle.
Got the shift on against him, and he goes the other way, but it'll be a foul ball. There wasn't anybody within the old country mile of that one. You see that for Jason Hamill against the Twins, an outstanding average.
That he does, and nice little selective company right there. Sale, the young lefty.
Ground ball towards the shift. Played with a shortstop that time. That was Hardy who was over there.
Yeah, it would have been a base hit if you don't put the shift on. Good sinker.
Yep. Hey, it's not too late to upgrade your summer with an Orioles partial season plan. Enjoy exclusive orange carpet benefits, including substantial savings over the cost of single game tickets. A lot of insider access, VIP extras, and more. Plans are available for as few as 12 games. Pricing set to fit any budget. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. Here's Trevor Plouffe inside for a ball. Third baseman. Couple of hits, 5 at bats in the series, and 4 for 14 on the year. Wilkin Ramirez will follow. Slider's going to miss away. Orioles in a 3-way tie for first here, coming into this first weekend and first week of play with the Orioles, Boston, and Tampa Bay all having similar 3-2 records. As we said, there's nobody in the majors undefeated. Hottest teams right now. Oakland's won 4 in a row. So has Colorado. The Milwaukee Brewers have lost 4 in a row for the longest losing streak on this Sunday. 2-1 delivery, and that'll be chopped foul. 2-2.
Well, there's that curveball, and again, we've already seen Pedro Hernandez in his first major league debut throw, at least as a starter, throw change-ups in any count. That's what Jason Hamill will do with his curveball. Very, very trusting on the hook.
That one was up in the zone, popped up. Teagarden. Good work by Taylor. Had to get around Ron Pelter, the home plate umpire, and gets it for the out. That'll bring up Wilkin Ramirez playing in right field, hitting 7th in the order. This is the part of the order for the Twins that has been very productive. The most RBI, 7 through 9 hitters, belongs to the Twins, with the Royals, Angels, Mets in the top 4 spots for the bottom 3. Ramirez has not appeared in the series prior to today, and will take the pitch inside for a ball. Only a couple of chances at the plate. He joined the Twins as a spring training invitee. Hasn't played a lot at the major league level. 15 games with Detroit in 2009, 20 games with Atlanta in 2011. And they like his speed. He's 27 years old, signed as a free agent by the Twins in 11.
And he had a great spring, 404 with 10 doubles. So hard not to pay attention to this type of guy. Because the Twins, their offense went up about 82 runs more than 2011. Their starters were 39 and 75 with the second highest ERA. So but you're still looking for offense. 701 runs, which was 11 lower than the Orioles.
That one is foul. Another one of those that Teagarden jumped on, hoping it might stay fair. It stayed right in the box. We've seen a couple of those this year, and balls that have been hit straight down at home plate and have gone maybe 6 inches, but they're fair.
Well, that's what happened with Adam Jones in the first inning. Ball up that they thought was off his foot.
And he went. Home plate umpire on top will make the call. Strikeout to number 3 for Hamill. We go to the bottom half of the second. Orioles, Pierce and Hardy will follow. See the last 3 games with that .571 batting average. He has been red hot, whether he's driven the ball or just gotten the dribblers. He's picked up RBIs and really been a big part of this offense here in the first week.
Without hitting home runs, which was what he did so well last year and the years before, 25, 25, 32. But you got to love the approach. Able to cut his swing down with 2 strikes. But again, you said it well. He drove the ball down in Tampa to right center field and left center field off some pretty good pitching.
So he will stand in against the left-hander. Jones last year hit .292 off left-handers, .285 off righties. And we'll take the pitch inside for a ball. Time for our AT&T mobility trivia fact. Adam Jones' 12 hits through the first 5 has tied Eddie Murray for the most by an Oriole since '54. Murray doing that in 1982. That is outside to him, and the count is 2-0 on Jones. Adam will try and continue pushing those numbers up. He and Davis have set or are close to the number of Oriole marks for hits, home runs, RBIs beginning of a season. That is outside for a ball, and Hernandez not close on those, working around him. 3-0.
And again, a 2-0 changeup. So loves it. Everybody said that. Not that it's his best pitch. He's got a nice little, very compact windup, and his lines are very straight. When we look at him from center field, you can see, because he's way over in the third base line, you can see that left foot. I mean, look at the direct line to the inside corner. It's the way Jamie Moyer pitches. And then what happens is you have the changeup, and again, he's not across his body. See, and there's the little 2-seamer changeup that runs down and away, but he couldn't throw it for a strike. So I think that first inning for the Orioles was pretty indicative of how he's going to pitch. Again, he'll use his changeup in any count, and they'll probably be waiting for it.
So a Maryland lottery hit a big contestant of the game, Tina Bennett, Nottingham. Tina, you won $500 for being selected, $100 more for every Orioles hit, $500 for a home run in the 5th. Your chance to be the Maryland lottery hit a big contestant of the game. Play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Good luck, Tina. Don't get many of these walks. See if the Orioles can take advantage of them. When we showed you against Hernandez, he doesn't give up many. And the pitch is taken for a strike. So the designated hitter in this ball game is Steve Pierce. Pierce getting an opportunity. He's had 4 at bats, looking for his first hit of the season. Bear in mind the Orioles adding Tillman yesterday, sending an infielder down on their roster, playing with that short bench again, with only 1 catcher. In this case, it happens to be Wieters today. That one is down to third and foul, and a broken bat.
Yeah, all over the handle of the bat, because the ball just cut inside.
Gotta love that. Yep. Day to be remembered at the ballpark. Got the bird, got the ball. 2 for 2. And a pretty nice hat. 0-2 count on Pierce. Seems to be hat day here at the ballpark. Jones off first base. Pierce will rip that one foul out in front of a couple.
Yeah, Steve Pierce can pull the ball with the best of them. David Price on opening day kept trying to get in there at 96, and he kept whacking it foul.
The career numbers versus lefties. Good.
Well, he led the Orioles with home runs in spring training, and Connor Jackson and Steve had a battle to see who would be the right-handed guy.
That's off the catcher. Look at that. That thing went 50 feet in the air after it hit Mauer. Whoa.
Yeah, a little defensive hack right here. A little 91-mile-per-hour fastball, so just trying to stay alive. And then right off the top of the mask.
I don't think I've ever seen a ball go straight up like that off a catcher that high. Mauer with using the old wired mask, not one of those new masks, molded masks, and he's just going out to the mound to make sure he can still talk.
Yeah, well, that and normally some of the young pitchers were saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to shake off Joe Mauer. You might have told him, you know what, after that, feel free to shake me off because I don't know what I'm doing. We had Jose Molina get hit the other day. Jose Molina just makes me crazier than I normally am. But he's a lot older than Joe Mauer.
Jones at first base, nobody out. DH, Pierce, 0-2 count. Hernandez, the long look over, and the off-speed pitch will float away. Pierce had 2 stints with the Orioles last year in the 1st of June to the middle of July, and then September through the end of the season. As the Orioles find a lot of reasons why they like what he does. He appeared not with many at bats for the Orioles. Had 28 games, 71 at bats. Throw over, Jones back to the bag. Adam walking off a decent lead here with a 1-ball 2-strike count and nobody out. Very little breeze here at the ballpark today. Jones not going. Pierce will pop it up. First base. Catcher Morneau Mauer. Mauer's okay. He makes the catch. There's a test. See how that drive off his head went. Come back and make a pop-up catch, and he does. That'll bring up J.J. Hardy. Hardy's got a 3-game hit streak, couple of hits, 8 at bats in this series. You see the 4 for 21 overall.
Yeah, that home run off a lefty. Cesar Ramos tried to throw a fastball by him, didn't succeed down in Tampa.
Better numbers against the lefties last year at 277, 225 off right-handers.
Well, the right-handed breaking ball thrown down in the zone gives most hitters trouble, and JJ's on the list. The lefty, we'll see if the changeup, because he's thrown it there, every hitter that's gone to the plate.
That's a fastball in there for a strike.
But 88, when you throw a lot of 82-mile-per-hour changeups, the pop-up to Steve Pierce was at 91, so makes it look a little bit quicker.
Boston's jumped out to a 7-0 lead in their game against Toronto. The Orioles will see the Red Sox at Fenway for the day game tomorrow. 0-1 count. And the pitch will be taken up high. 1-1 on J.J. Hardy with Reimold to follow. A lot of offense has been displayed around baseball in the first week by a lot of ball clubs as far as runs scored are concerned. Here's the 1-1 delivery. That ball put in the air, left center field. It is way back, and goodbye, home run! Hardy with a 2 RBI homer, and the Orioles are on the board.
Oh, there's your hanging changeup. Nice adjustment. Good pitch to hit. And boy, that is the difference. At the major league level, the hitters are better. Adam Jones, very selective, gets the walk, and with JJ in this ballpark, loves to hit here. Pull hitter.
So the Orioles continue to hit home runs with runners on base. All 7 of the homers the Orioles have hit this year, somebody's been on. Hardy's got a couple and a strike.
So you take a look, a lot of change-ups, and you better locate it well. And for JJ, you can see outside middle, but it's not a fastball, so easy to get to it, easy to pull it.
That's going to be a base hit up the middle by Reimold. Nolan Reimold's second hit of this series. If you want Orioles news and exclusive content delivered direct to your mobile phone, just text Orioles 29292 for mass and game alerts and behind the scenes content.
Yeah, Joe Mauer already out there to have a little conversation. You know, you look at Pedro Hernandez, and I was talking to Bert Blyleven, and he was saying that he didn't pitch a lot of innings, the most 3 innings. So in spring training, you just don't know what kind of hitters. This is the big leagues. You know, you get a team like the Orioles out in the first inning, they go back, they have a little conversation. What kind of does he have any run on his fastball? Is he cutting it? Does the changeup have good speed? In this inning, he just hadn't made good pitches. And if you're not overpowering, you can win throwing 88 to 91, but it can't be in the middle of the plate. The Orioles are taking advantage of his mistake to Hardy.
One away. Teagarden hitting 8th and doing the catching, getting his first chance. He's not had an at bat yet this year. Reimold at first, and a strike taken to Taylor Teagarden. So the Orioles, again, using the home run as they did last year to account for a lot of their runs. Up to 48% of the runs this year have come via the home run. Last year was the same figure, at 47.3% last season. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Kind of interesting. The Orioles came into this ball game as the only team in the American League without a solo home run, and they stay that way with Hardy's 2-run shot. One count on Teagarden. Short lead at first. Teagarden will follow straight back.
Yeah, nice swing. Now you talk to Taylor Teagarden. I'd always, you know, when he came up through the Texas organization, catch and throw guy, but if you go back, he had 20 home runs as a regular catcher early on in the minor leagues. And he said he just said he got in bad habits, but it looks like he's watching him in spring training, and you know, all his work just seems like he's going to be more aggressive this year. Did get some really big hits when he got him last year. Only 9 hits, and they seem like they all counted.
1 ball, 2 strike count to him. Teagarden, slow roller. Got to go to first. Mauer directing traffic. Hernandez makes the play. Reimold will go down to second base, and there are 2 away. So Teagarden out of there. Now the former Minnesota Twin will try and pick up an RBI against his past team, as Casillas in the ball game starting at second base. Alexei Casillas had only 1 at bat in this series and has an 0 for 1. This series, the Orioles are 7 for 20 with runners in scoring position. Both teams have had a lot of runners. The Orioles have stranded 17 and the Twins 15 in the first 2 games of this series. And the pitch is inside to him for a ball.
Well, important acquisition with the injury to Brian Roberts. Brian off to a great start, 5 hits, and then the tendon tear in the back of the right knee, so he'll be out at least a month or so.
Inside, Brian is here at the ball game today. He'll be leaving to head to Sarasota to begin his rehab work after the game today.
I talked to him yesterday. Apparently you have a number of tendons that attach to the hamstring. He said if you're going to pull one, he pulled the right one, so not as serious as it might have been. That's it, if you're going to pull one.
2-0 delivery, that's in there for a strike. Casillas good numbers off the lefties last year. He hit 296, well above the 294 average that he had against right-handers. 7 seasons with the Twins. There are the numbers. Had a chance to be an everyday player for them, and frankly put, just didn't cut it. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And that's going to be taken up high and falling behind on him, 3-1.
Yeah, and a lot of those years, because until the last 2 years, the Twins were winning their division. Ron Gardenhire expected somebody that could be consistent, could make the routine plays, and wouldn't drive you crazy. And He just wasn't as consistent as he liked, and that just wasn't going to play on a winning ball club.
Here's the 3-1 delivery. That's foul. Well, Gardenhire's in his 12th year already managing the Twins. They have picked up 6 division titles in the time that he has been there. The trouble for the Twins, while Gardy's managed, there he is that they've only gone to the League Championship Series once, and they lost that one in 2002 to Anaheim. So the division titles have been there, but they've not been able to move on but once, and then lost that one. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Casilla 2 down. Runner at second base for the Orioles, and he walked it. Leadoff walk in the inning to Adam Jones. And second inning cost a run. The Orioles looking to add to that here after Hardy got the homer to make it 2-0.
Yeah, Rick Anderson out to have a little conversation. Second time through the order. And one thing, you have a guy that's red hot. He had 4 hits last night and does hit lefties about as well as any left-hander in recent Oriole history. 291, as you mentioned, Gary. So he'll make an adjustment.
Bullpen has been used a lot by the Twins, and they really don't want to have to go there. They're looking for a deep start here. Nick Markakis struck out his first time up last night, his 17th career 4-hit ball game. Started it out with a double. Middle innings had 2 singles, and then in the 7th inning he added another double. Ended up going 4 for 5 in the ball game.
Yeah, Josh Renicky, who pitched very well for the Twins, said, I couldn't believe he hit that ball up and in. And Nick said, because it was a good pitch, he said, yeah, but it was a better swing. And it was.
And walked away. 2 down, and the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. So a chance for the Orioles to add to the 2-0 lead with the 2 runs across so far in the inning. The base runners, Reimold had the single at second. Casilla the walks on at first. .0 delivery. It's the 28th pitch that's been thrown in this inning by Hernandez. Gets it for a strike, 1-1. Big at bat early because the Orioles have a real chance here to add to that 2-0 lead. Runners will be going in contact with 2 away. Markakis gets contact. That's up the middle. Nolan Raimo will come around. He'll score, stopping at second base Casilla, and another 2-out RBI for the Orioles, who have a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, Nick does make a nice adjustment. Saw 3 pitches the first time, took the first pitch, which you might swing at. And then right here, 3rd straight fastball. This one ends up somewhat in the middle of the plate, hits it right back up the middle. There it is. Nice little grounder into center field for an RBI, 3rd run of the inning.
Markakis having a heck of a series for Nick. That is going to be his first RBI of the year. He's contributed getting on base and in runs. Now contributes bringing 1 in. And here's Manny Machado, who flied out to center field his first time up. A 3-run 2nd inning so far. Still 2 on. Right straight back by Machado. Take a look at our Hollywood League leaderboard. Slot Stables and Dining, the ultimate triple play at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Most runs scored, 2 down. 17 for the Orioles and 16 for the Twins, with the Red Sox with 12 coming into today's play. And the 0-1 pitch is inside.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We talked about, again, Pedro Hernandez not walking a lot of guys, but there's such a difference from the minor leagues to the big leagues. Major league hitters don't chase as much. And then again, if your stuff's not overwhelming and you don't make good pitches, you get hit hard.
That's going to be driven in the air to right field. And Ramirez will come on to pick it up, and that will do it in the inning. But 8 came to the plate. The Orioles get 3 runs, 2 of them coming on the Hardy home run. He's now got a 4-game hit streak and 2 home runs on the season. to you by Just for Men. Just for Men, auto stop is foolproof. Gray is over. And by Chapin Davis Investments, Baltimore's oldest and largest full-service investment firm. Call 1-800-222-3246 or go to chapindavis.com. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer as we get set to go. The Orioles leading it by a score of 2-0. And Dozier batting in the 8th spot, leading it off. Florimon and then Hicks at the top. Orioles have now scored first in all 6 of the games they have played this season. 1-0 delivery lifted in the air to center. Adam Jones in place. Few high clouds around, but other than that, a glorious Sunday. Red Sox head up to Boston, as we said, where the weather for the coming week in Boston and New York and here in Baltimore is supposed to get fairly warm, although the nights may be a little cool in Boston. Florimon up, switch hitter, 4-game hit streak, and the pitch up high. He's had just a 1 for 2 in the series.
Yeah, nice little drag bunt. He's got to play in it first enough not to even let him think about doing that. It was perfect. He just bunted to the first baseman and beat the pitcher to the bag, and he was able to do that.
Hamill with a 2-0 delivery. That's way up high. And he falls behind 3-0. Jason Hamill with the 8-6 mark last year. 20 starts. 104 hits and 118 innings. Good ratio. 113 strikeouts to 42 walks. Taken all the way and walked him. Not close on those. And the number 9 hitter for the Twins is on. The Orioles return to Baltimore on Tuesday, April 16, to begin a 9-game homestand against the Rays, the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays. They'll miss 2 early season AL East battles and a weekend series with the Dodgers, marking only the 2nd visit to Oriole Park by the Dodgers. You can get tickets in advance, 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. 1 down, 1 on, top of the order. Hicks, a strikeout victim, his first time up, and he will take that one for a strike.
Yeah, so speed at first, speed at the plate. Yeah, the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw already 2-0, has yet to give up a run. Complete game home run opening day, only went 7, 2 hits. They pitched around him last night. He walked once.
Dodgers expected to have a very good season, battling, the predictions are, battling with the Dodgers will be the Giants. Arizona right now is 4-1. Colorado's 4-1, and the Dodgers Giants 3-2 with San Diego 1-4 in that West. Hicks, who has already struck out 11 times for the youngster, moving up from Double-A ball directly to the majors with just the 1 hit in the 23 at bats, a couple of walks, 11 strikeouts. Mauer waiting on deck, 1-1. Breaking ball, misses, 2-1.
Yeah, I've tried to hit that outside corner with a little backdoor slider, so a good hitter's count. But we've already seen that doesn't mean you're going to get a fastball. In the minor leagues, most likely. Here, could be anything. And that's one of the differences. That in your head. Start thinking.
Jason Hamill, the 2-1 delivery to him. Hicks will take that one to center. Jones started back, moves in. And there are 2 down. Let's go into our notebook here and take a look at a weekend of this season. Adam Jones of the O's, with 2 strikes on him this year, has already gone 5 for 9 and 6 RBIs. That's a very big number. The New York Yankees are 1-4 this season. It's about their hitting because they don't have the players. It's about their pitching. They're scoring runs. They can't get anybody out. It's their worst start since 2006. Clayton Kershaw, Jim just mentioning, of the Dodgers, has the only complete game in the majors in the first week of the season. 2 down here, Mauer. Mauer single his first time up. That'll be taken away for a ball.
Yeah, it just looked like Jason Hamill, again, a big guy at 6'6", just lost his footing on his push-off foot and just got underneath that curveball. Had problems down in Tampa because he was so amped up, just couldn't stay back and get the ball down in the strike zone.
Way up high with that one. So he falls behind again, 2-0, starting to pitch behind hitters here in this third inning.
Well, when you're tall like that, sometimes you just get out and you land on your heel. That means you can't get over your front side. So again, the sooner you can make the correction that you'd like to, because it is a game of adjustment, you know, does it have to be a little shorter stride? But again, that's 3 in a row. 1 a changeup where he slipped, and 2 where he just can't. His elbow's a little bit lower than it normally is, and we saw it yesterday, or at least last night. They let Parmelee swing away. Will just be another 3-0. Let Mauer get the green light.
Florman off first base. Here's the 3-0, and it's taken, and another walk on 4 pitches, as happened with Florman in the inning. So 2 on and 2 down, and Teagarden out to the mound. Word on Zach Britton today. Zach today at Norfolk, a couple of innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, seemed to be having some problems of some sort, stayed in the game, and then was pulled after working only 2 innings. He had a blister that developed a left thumb last Sunday at Twin Lakes, may have kicked up on him again today, so he didn't get to go very far in the ball game. Hit him, and Hamill's all over the place. So that's going to load the bases.
And here comes Rick Adair, the Oriole pitching coach. Well, if you cannot stay over the pitching rubber long enough to be able to get your arm up, and just imagine, one of the great things about being 6'6" when you have great natural ability is your leverage. But if you can't stay over the rubber and be able to use that 10-inch fall to throw downhill, which is what's not happening here, you're going to struggle. And then, of course, the problem is that you have to make this adjustment with Morneau, who got 3 hits last night. And that's why pitching sometimes at the major league level, kind of like the difference between if you're at the driving range, doesn't matter where the ball goes. It's hard to make adjustments when you're playing golf out on the course. Pitching's no different.
And Morneau will get the big chance here with the Orioles leading at 3-0. Bases loaded. He 0 for 1 in the ball game, and that is in there for a strike. Rounded out his first time up. He's had 1 RBI in this series, the only one he's picked up on the year. Has had 3 hits and 9 at bats. And he will put that one up in the air. It's been an Adam Jones put out inning. Whoa! Hang on, it's going to fall in. 2 runs have scored. There should be 3, but Willingham will have to stop at third. Adam Jones, for some reason, stopped moving. I don't know if he lost sight of it and looked over for Reimold, who thought Jones was going to play it, and nobody got it.
Well, again, not a whole lot of clouds, maybe some little high clouds, but it seems like it's routine. Got his glasses on. He doesn't see it. And when he does, it's already fallen. Nolan Reimold, he's helped me, pointing at him, but again, trying to find it, and he never did. So a big break for the Twins.
2 RBI double. Runners at second and third. Here's Domet, who will take it for a strike. Bases loaded, 2-bagger on one that sneaks its way in. Ryan Domet grounding out his first time up, 0 for 4, lifetime off Jason Hamill. And Domet will take it outside, 1-1. Another one of those situations. Lesson learned: run, run, run. If you're on the base paths, you never know. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And that'll be put in the air to left field this time. Reimold, and he's got it. But the Twins take advantage of one that fell in and a couple of walks. Both of the walks in the inning scored to make it a 3-2 game. as he came off the field with that ball falling in between he and Reimold. Not much can be done about that. I mean, it was lost. Reimold was sure he was going to catch it, and it made his way over. And then, as Jim said, by the time he realized he didn't know where it was too late.
Well, almost everybody defers to Adam. We even see, Markakis has won Gold Gloves. He always lets the center fielder, and that's kind of the way it's played. But when you can't see it, you usually can't catch it.
So it's a one-run ball game as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Here is Chris Davis. The left-hander's pitch will be inside to him. Chris grounded out his first time up. The only Oriole not to hit in the 3-run, 3-hit second inning off Pedro Hernandez. Breaking ball away, and a 2-0 count on Davis.
Yeah, he would have had a base hit except for Brian Dozier, the second baseman. Last year, shortstop, great range, as you mentioned. He showed us that outstanding range at second base, and they don't put the shift on him.
2-0 delivery to him, and Davis takes that down low, and the count goes to 3-0.
Well, Pedro Hernandez has gotten a reprieve because of the ball lost in the sun. He's only a run shy now of the Orioles.
3-0 count. Davis will take it for a strike. So far, the numbers for Hernandez we showed you earlier, with the great strikeout to walk ratio, obviously not showing up here in his second major league start. That'll go to first base, backhanded by Morneau. The flip Hernandez covers, and Davis is retired. One down, third inning. Junior Orioles Dugout Club, Birdland's best value in family entertainment. Kids 14 and under get tickets to 10 games. The exclusive club hat, membership card, backpack, and more. It's only $20. Members even get exclusive giveaway items at each game. And family and friends, their tickets start as low as $6 with a chance to even upgrade to the lower deck. Find out more at 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com/dugout club.
That is a big glove. You can catch anything.
Look, Mom. Here's Adam Jones, and that's a strike to him. Jones drew a walk in the second inning and scored on the Hardy home run. Orioles have picked up 2 walks in the game, scored one of them. Minnesota's had 2 walks in the game, scored both of them. In the air to right center field. Hicks slips, and that's going to fall in. How about that? Jones will make the turn and stop at second base on the backup by Ramirez. A little tit for tat by the center fielders as Hicks got there, and then as he tried to come forward, his feet went out from under him.
And we don't see this very often, but if Adam is running, this is a triple. He just figures it's going to be routine because he didn't hit it well, and again Wilkins going to come over from right, but too late, trying to catch it. Desperation stab, just misses it. So again, with 1 out, boy, you'd like to be at third base.
Well, we've now had 2 situations in as many innings where the lesson about running, run everything out matters.
And he usually does.
Yes.
Again, that's so routine, but it is a lesson learned.
Here's Steve Pearce, who popped out his first time up. Orioles have their 4th hit of the ball game, and Pearce will take it for a strike. Orioles came in 5th in the league with runners in scoring position at 278. The Twins are right behind them. They're 6th at 267 after the first week of play. Look back by Hernandez, and he'll step off. And the 0-1 delivery to him, and that will be up high. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
It's kind of amazing how different teams play different hitters different ways. In Tampa Bay, they played Steve Pearce to pull, especially in the infield. And they're pretty much straight away. And then in the outfield, you can see Aaron Hicks, the center fielder, is a couple of steps to right center, where
Willingham is pretty much straight away and left.
1 down, 1-1 delivery to him inside.
Yeah, almost got him.
Close to the jersey. And the count will go to 2-1. Hernandez having to use a lot of pitches here in the ball game. He's up to 54 so far.
Yeah, you know, you look at that again. He didn't give up a run in spring training, but his last major league inning was the 21st of March. So I assume he went to the minor league camp, and maybe they stretched him out. So you kind of wonder what the pitch count will be today.
2-1 count. Jones off second base. Pierce takes that one up high, and the count will go to 3-1. Orioles have been very patient in their at-bats here through the first week of play this season. They've struck out only 25 times coming into the game and have drawn 15 walks. Today, 2 walks and 1 strikeout added to that. 3 ball, 1 strikeout on Pierce.
I can see Brian Dozier on the top of the screen. He's been kind of fainting like he was going to go on, but again, Tampa Bay, if it was Zobrist, he'd be standing almost behind second base, so it's easy to hold a guy on. But I think for Pedro Hernandez, he should concentrate on trying to get the hitters on and try to get him out.
3-1 delivery and walked him. So 3 walks in the ball game, and the Orioles with 1 away here in the third have 2 on. Mauer will go out. Talk to Hernandez. Ron Gardenhire is going to stay away from that phone as long as he can because he feels his bullpen already has worked a little too much here in the first week. And here's J.J. Hardy, who delivered in the second inning.
Did he ever? There you go. 40th home run against lefties. 30 his first year in an Oriole uniform. 22 last year.
2 on and 1 away. Hardy with a 4-game hit streak. 3 RBIs in this series. Hernandez will catch the outside corner for a strike. Orioles come in first in average in the league, first in runs, tied for 6th in home runs entering the day. Orioles have the best on base percentage in the American League. Jones and Pierce the leads, the 0-1 off speed. That's a swing that can hurt you.
Well, out in front. First curveball he is actually thrown over. That's a good one. Big slow hook. And Joe Mauer out to talk to him. How'd you hold that one? That was good. Do it again.
Hardy waiting on the 0-2. They give him the big gap in right center. And the delivery to Hardy is going to be popped up. He got jammed. Mauer again with Morneau.
No.
What? This is a day, I guess, where trying to catch a ball in the air is not possible.
Well, we saw Matt Wieters do it. Night game. You don't hardly ever see that. They're both won Gold Gloves. It's a very glary. He just drops it right in the middle of the glove. And again, somebody's yelling, use 2 hands. He tried to.
A strange game. So the error charge keeps the at-bat alive for Hardy with the 2-strike count.
Yeah, Hernandez should be on the bench. 2 extra outs in this inning so far.
And the 0-2 delivery, and that's up high. 1 ball, 2-strike count. All these exceedingly long innings really get extended in an inning like this. Adam Jones with a double that fell in when Hicks tripped. That should have been an out Jim was referring to. Hardy should be out. So the Orioles will try and take advantage of the door being opened by the Twins. 1-2 delivery. Hardy, a ground ball towards short. Florman, Dozier, relay, good turn. They will get the double play. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 base runner left on. 3 complete on this Sunday. Orioles spring training also a destination for culinary adventure. From fresh local seafood to the array of Sagat rated restaurants, you can learn more by going to SavorSarasota.com. There's a very good ice cream stand, 2 of them actually, right there at Sarasota Beach. If you walk back, one on the right, one on the left. Fine ice cream.
Well,
I rarely indulge.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Here's Trevor Plouffe.
That's why you're so happy this year.
I am.
Trap door right into the ice cream store.
I told you not to tell people that.
Well, they don't know.
Oh, they don't know?
They don't know.
Oh, they don't know now. We're not telling anybody. And a 1-strike count on Trevor Plouffe. He popped out his first time.
So we had what? Not granola. It was grape nuts ice cream. What? Any exotic flavors planned for this season?
Going with the double Dutch chocolate, which was very good.
Dutch chocolate.
Particularly rich. Markakis makes the play. Plouffe retired.
Particularly rich.
I'm sure we'll have our maniacs who are fans of the Orioles, live in the Baltimore area, and make grape nut ice cream. They bring some in every year. It's great. Here is Wilkin Ramirez, a strikeout victim, his first time up. And the pitch is inside. Hamill, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Pedro Hernandez, 3 walks and 1 strikeout. Orioles 3-4-0. They've left 3. The Twins 2-2-1, and they have left 3. That'll go to short. Oh, Hardy, look what I got.
Well, I got the Gold Glove, and they gave it to him on opening day, and he deserved it. It's just unbelievable how steady he is. Yeah, Belanger, Ripken, Bordick, Aparicio, guys that I've been around at shortstop. You just keep waiting for him to make a bad throw. It just doesn't seem to happen, or it's just
good as
a
it gets.
model of consistency. It's unbelievable.
Towering fly ball by Dozier into that high sky again, and Reimo back on the warning track. Boy, there's a quick inning. A 1-2-3 for Hamill. The Orioles remain on top by 1. Already. This one dropped in. Jones thought he had it, then lost it. Reimold couldn't get there to help him out. And an opportunity for the Twins that they weren't able to do anything with. Then Jones at the plate, and Hicks falls down. Orioles couldn't do anything with that. Then the pop-up, Mauer, I got it. Oops. No, I don't. Kept the at-bat alive for Hardy, who then hits into a double play. So even though those unusual events have occurred, the offense has not been able to do much with it.
Yeah, not scored his errors, as you could see. Only the Mauer drop pop-up. So a lot of pitches. 20, almost 20 an inning.
Trying to stay at around 14 to 16.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd like to do 5, because that's what Hamill threw in the last half inning. 1-0 pitch taken away by Reimold.
Yeah, if you look at somebody like Pedro Hernandez, most pitchers, the more pitches that the hitter sees, the easier it is to hit. And you'd like to be efficient. You'd like make your pitches. You know who's hitting you in the glove. Take your chances. And he's having a little trouble doing that, commanding his stuff today.
The eye in 3-0. And a strike on the inside corner. Reimold, Teagarden, and Casilla due up for the Orioles. The series advantage here in this rubber match is what's up for grabs on this Sunday. 3-1 pitch hit hard to third. Plouffe. And Reimold is retired. 1 away. Take a look at our PNC minor league report, brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Jair Jurgensen made a run at the starting rotation for the Orioles in spring training last night, AAA.
Well, the result was good. Again, I think the things they look at, how was the velocity, breaking ball pretty lazy. You did the game that he was hit in the kind of right rib cage.
Right rib cage.
Yeah, you know, the stuff wasn't very sharp, even though it was early in that game.
Interesting. Buck Showalter talked about that performance by Jurgens and said the report he received was not, in his words, not as effusive as expected. What he was saying was, looking at the numbers and looking at the written report he got, two different things. Numbers looked real good, but he said the report not as effusive as expected.
And I guess they would be talking, because he used to be a 91, 92. In spring training was 87, 88. The knee problems. Harder for him to drive and stay through and behind his pitches. And again, the breaking ball. I mean, he could throw a changeup to go along with that good fastball in any count when he was with Atlanta, all-star caliber. And then the breaking ball, just not a lot of arm speed on it. Hopefully that'll improve.
Taylor Teagarden takes it away, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles, all those one-run wins last year, looking for their first one this year, as they've gone 0-2. And the Twins are 2-0 in one-run games. 2-2 delivery on the way, swung on and missed. Teagarden, the second strikeout victim of Hernandez. And the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report will return tomorrow after the Orioles day game against the Red Sox. The show, the guys are going to look at the MLB bullpens, discuss how difficult it is for them to repeat success year after year. Buck Showalter, Davey Johnson, Dusty Baker are all going to chime in on that one. And don't miss this week's scouting report on the hottest, coldest players from opening week. Tom Davis, Dave Johnson, Phil Wood, Mel Antonin, 5:30 tomorrow. Casilla will take that one for a strike. They'll be on right after O's Extra tomorrow. 1:30 O's Extra tomorrow afternoon to kick off the ball game, and then we'll be on at 2 o'clock from Fenway Park for the opener at Fenway for the Red Sox, who are beating Toronto today.
Yeah, R.A. Dickey too. Last year's Cy Young Award winner from the Mets.
A couple of tough starts. Little roller came right back to the mound. Alexei Casilla is retired, and both pitchers, the last half innings they've worked, have gotten them down 1-2-3. Orioles up by 1. stretch of the set. The Minnesota Twins, Jim Palmer, have played some good baseball here in these 3 games, maybe a little better than expected.
Yeah, I mean, Terry Ryan, well, I don't know, he's their general manager, but it may be their.
He's in charge.
He's in charge. He said, we'll see. Ron Gardenhire said, we'll see. And, obviously when you lose, 96, 99 games, that's what you're concerned about. But they do have a much better lineup, and they have some young players, a nice blend. And, Joe Mauer was talking today. Basically, he said, listen, we have enough older players that understand what we need to do to get back to win. And Orioles certainly can say that, too. And the one thing about Jason Hamill today, they give him a 3-0 lead. He did not want to walk 2 guys, and of course, and then could have got out of the inning, but Jonesy, I don't remember ever seeing him lose a ball in the sun.
Pedro Floriman with a 1-ball-1-strike count shows bunt. He will take it. He drew a walk and scored in that 3rd inning. The Orioles continue to look for consistency from their starters. That's what they are after and hope to get to.
Well, only 2 off days in the next about 26 games. So after an off day, they'll play tomorrow, off day Tuesday, an off day next Monday, then they play 20 straight games. So the bullpen will be exhausted at the end of this month, in a sense, or at least over the next the month of games, if they just don't get it straight out. I don't think there's going to be a problem. I think the one thing you have to understand, we kept seeing down in Tampa 55-degree humidity. The feel of the ball, even though it's a nice day, it's a little slicker. It's going to take a while to get used to that.
3-2 delivery, and that's going to be up high, and he's walked him again. So a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. The one number that the Orioles will want to get down early regarding that starting pitching is a very high ERA. It's the 2nd highest for starters after the first week in the American League. Can't have that go on.
No, you can. And I think the other thing is command. And that Jason Hamill, he's got a 1-run lead, didn't want to walk him, but I can see he's dropping his arm. And for a guy 6'6" or Jake Arrieta trying to, after having a very good spring, making the ball club, you want to maybe sometimes do more than you're capable of doing. You have to relax. You have to be able to get your arm out in front, and sometimes it's hard to do. I mean, there's a perfectly thrown pitch. But you think he wanted to walk Foreman? I mean, he's the type of hitter, and with all due respect to him, you want him to put the ball in play. And he hasn't been able to do it twice this afternoon.
So the leadoff man on here in the 5th inning. The 3rd walk surrendered by Hamill. Now top of the order, Hicks trying to get things going. Hicks 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Good stop made by Teagarden, and he'll look Floriman back to first base.
Yeah, when I first saw Jason Hamill throw last year, I said, for a big guy, again, he repeats his delivery. See, over the front side there, but constantly, and that's why the ball was down in the zone. But again, when you get out too front and you kind of start drifting, your arm never catches up, even if you have a terrific arm like he has.
1 ball, 1 strike count. And a non-speed pitch again that's going to miss up high. That's what Jim's talking about. That's where he's been.
Well, he can't get his hand on top of it because, again, the body is going left to right like a merry-go-round. And when you're that tall, imagine a Ferris wheel. You want to throw over that front shoulder, and he's having trouble syncing everything up. And a lot of pitches very flat. Not only flat, they're out of the zone.
Not a big lead over there by Floriman on that throw over. Good speed at first and at the plate. 3-2 ball game. Orioles out hitting the Twins 4-2. The Twins have had a single from Mauer in the 1st inning and the 2 RBI double in the 3rd, picked up by Morneau. 2-1 delivery, and that's going to miss, and the count goes to 3-1.
Well, we've seen 2-1 counts to Aaron Hicks. Kind of chased a 2-seamer and hit it meekly to center field. Another great hitting count for him.
3-1. Mauer waiting on deck. Runner goes, and the ball put up in the air to left field. Reimold, he's got it, and Floriman will come back. So Hicks retired. He's got an 0 for 3 in the ball game, and Hamill comes back to get him after falling behind on him. Yeah, and that will bring Mauer up.
He can't even advance the runner, which is what, if you're Jason Hamill, you love. And And if you're the Twins, you're going, well, if you're going to make an out, maybe hit a roller, get the guy to second. This is about as good as it gets, driving in runners over the course of his career. 342 going into last night.
Mauer's had a 4 for 10 lifetime off Hamill, including a home run. He has singled and walked in this game and scored a run. And Mauer will take the fastball away. So for Hamill now, he's had 9 first pitch strikes to 20 batters. Not good.
Yeah, trying to hit that outside corner, and then he misses. And Mauer, his first time up, took a ball outside part of the plate and just, as he does so well, hit it into left field for a base hit.
1-0 delivery that is taken for a strike.
You get the feeling that Joe Mauer and most of his at-bats have a pretty good idea of what he wants to hit. Reminds me of a big version of Tony Gwynn, where he can inside out just about any ball you throw.
.273 hitter here at Camden Yards in his career with a couple of home runs. 1-1 delivery. Slider's going to miss. And the count to Mauer goes to 2-1. Tough day for the defense behind Jason Hamill. A lot of pitches. A lot of strolling around going on, with waiting for the ball to be put in play or something to happen. 66 pitches thrown in the ball game. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Mauer to short. Got it. He's got to get another. Over to first. Nice scoop by Davis. And a double play on a base running miscue right there by Florimond. Only 3 faced. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Hardy having a day on this Sunday here at Camden Yards. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By the Hyundai Let's Go sales event now through April 30th. And by Verizon Fios Quantum Internet, technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. For Jim Palmer, I'm Gary Thorne back here, brushing off the dish, and a 1-run ball game.
Little black edge around the home plate. Harry Wendelstedt, the late Harry Wendelstedt, National League umpire, used to actually take a little knife. That's where you throw it there, I'll call it. On the black.
And that black buried under the dirt for the most part now on home plates. And a breaking ball for a strike.
That's where that term. Got another baseball term I saw. PSOTs.
Swarzak just added to the reinstated today in the bullpen off the end of the bat by Markakis. Dozier. And one away. Time for the 5th inning home run bonus. For this inning only, today's Maryland Lottery big hit contestant of the game gets $500 for any Orioles home run. Tina Bennett, that's you. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery big hit contestant of the game, play 5-card cash and go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Already won $900. Tina, not a bad Sunday. So what was the word?
Well, now we got peace odds. That was
butted right back to the mound. Not a good one.
Boy, when hitters do that, you go, thank you so much. You know the intention. He's trying to get on base for the big boys who are coming up. But peace odds are for the Yankees players signed off the street. That's what some of the writers.
Peace odds.
Peace odds. Well, because we had the backhand power toss. That was Morneau. Mike Bordy came up with that. Ball, how the ball comes out of your hand. All these little baseball phrases. Peace odds. Players signed off the streets. Well, he's talking about Lyle Overbay. Obviously not happy with the way with all the injuries that they have up in New York.
That's basically what they're doing, unfortunately. They are signing people off the street. They need a shortstop. Got a catcher playing short. Oh, that's Cervelli was playing shortstop. Chris Davis. Davis will foul that one away.
Well, he listened to Russell Martin because he wanted to play for Team Canada. Didn't he want to play shortstop?
He did.
And they said no.
So he didn't
play at all.
Davis has grounded out twice in the ball game. 0-2 delivery on the way. Chris has had an RBI in each of the first 5 ball games for the Orioles. The Orioles record for consecutive games with an RBI at the beginning of the season is 6, held by Brooks Robinson and Mike Devereaux. Brooksy did it in '66, Devereaux in '94. Fouled away, and the count stays at 1-2. All of a sudden, the pitchers taking control of this ball game, getting some fairly quick outs.
Well, I think if you want to describe how Pedro Hernandez has pitched, he's nibbled, but he's nibbled pretty well, with the exception of the high fastball. I think that's what it was to Hardy.
That ball put up in the air down the line. It is foul and unplayable.
And maybe walked a few more. Comes in with a resume that tells us great command in the minor leagues. A little different at this level, but he hasn't given in to the hitters. Trying to make his pitches, and that's why the pitch count is now at 82.
Hardy's had the home run for 2. Markakis an RBI base hit for the Orioles. 3 runs in the game. 1-2 delivered to Davis, and a swing and a miss. And Hernandez has got 3 strikeouts, retires the side in order. He's set down the last 7 that he's faced. '86, Dwight Evans of the Red Sox became the first player to hit the first pitch of the first game on opening day for a home run. And in 1969, Ted Williams made his managerial debut. That was at Washington's RFK Stadium. And would stay in Washington, then move on to Texas. And a relatively short managerial stint for the Splendid Splinter. Pitch is taken for a strike as Willingham up here in the 6th inning. He's been hit by a pitch and struck out. Shift is on against the right-hander. Ground ball towards the middle. Play easily made by Castillo, who was right behind the bag. Willingham retired. Voting for the AT&T Fans Choice Bobbleheads now underway. Just text 1 for Wei and Chen, 2 Chris Davis, 3 Jason Hamill, and 4 Jim Johnson, 5 for Nate McLeod. 31826. Voting unlimited, standard text message rate supply, and one of the fans voting is going to get tickets and an on-field experience for the September 29 bobblehead game. And you can cast your vote online. Go to Orioles.com/bobblehead or the team's official Facebook page. Put up in the air. Everybody's in a hurry to get on the plane today. Morneau will pop out the third. Machado back to get it. 2 down.
Well, they are when you'll throw it over. I mean, that is the key to pitching. Your idea, if you throw ball 1, they don't swing. So again, this is what Jason Hamill does so well. I mean, amazingly well last year. He was aggressive, command his stuff. And today he's just been a little out of sync. But other innings, he's been able to find his rhythm. And that's what pitching is. It's about rhythm.
Quick innings in the 4th and 5th, and a chance to do it again in the 6th inning. Inside, here's Domet. Domet's 0 for 2. He is grounded out and flied out.
Yeah, it's kind of like last night till Josh Renicky and C.J. McFarland came in.
There's the shift again. There's Casilla. There's another inning gone. You can see those frequent flyer miles piling up quickly as these two teams get ready to disembark. This Sunday, and it's still up for grabs. Two pitchers really settling in middle part of the ball game. Jason Hamill for the Orioles, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, but getting outs in a hurry. Home run picked up by Hardy, his second of the season, and Markakis base hit at an RBI have put 3 up for the O's, and 3-4-0 for the Orioles, 2-2-1 for the Twins. For Pedro Hernandez, called up for the emergency start with DeVries having to go on the DL. Not a bad performance. He settled in. And he's out of the ball game now. Could be the losing pitcher, and just reinstated today. Anthony Swarzak comes on.
Yeah, had some rib injuries from an off-season accident. Last year started the year as a starter. Was 0-5, then went to the bullpen, and numbers came down drastically. 3-1 ERA in the 3s. We saw him, I think, early on starting a ball game. Of course, when you start looking in Carl Pavano, Francisco Liriano, Jason Marquis, Nick Blackburn, and Anthony Swarzak, those were the 5 starters early in the year. And as their starters only won 39 games, lost 75 last year.
Swarzak had his start here in Baltimore on April 8 last year. Pitching in the 3rd game, allowed just 1 run, 4 hits, 5 innings. Did take the loss in that ball game. And Swarzak will go to work here against Adam Jones. And Jones will take it for a strike. Jones with a 2 for 3 off Swarzak. Swarzak, 27 years old. Back on that roster today. 0-1 delivery. Jones taking down low. Jones, Pierce, and Hardy due up here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's the 1-1. Jones will ground that one towards short, and it's going to go through. Plouffe coming over, blocked Florimon. Jones a big turn, forces the throw into second base. He's on with a single, 2 for 2.
Yeah, Trevor Plouffe is probably the only guy that could have caught it. His curveball, just not a bad one, but again, strength, speed, bat speed. And again, even if he catches it, he's not going to be able to throw out Adam Jones. But you're right, he certainly did block him.
Well, what a start for Adam Jones now. That's 7 hits in this series. 7 for 11. He's hit safely in all 6 ball games, and he gets the leadoff single for the Orioles. Orioles had the leadoff man on in the 2nd with a walk when they get the Hardy home run. Now they get the leadoff man on again in the 6th inning. Pop out and a walk for Steve Pierce so far, and a throw over Jones back. Little breeze blowing out towards right field at the moment. First time we've had a breeze here at the ballpark today. Don't know how many of you saw the Honus Wagner sale yesterday. If you do any baseball collecting, that great Honus Wagner card was up for auction yesterday. It's called the Holy Grail of sports memorabilia. $2.1 million was the final bidding price. It was $500,000 more than the card sold for in 2008. Name of the buyer remains undisclosed. That ball's going to be popped up in the air towards right again. Who knows? Dozier's got it lined up and will make the catch. Pierce retired. Look at our Hyundai drive of the ball game with Hardy coming up. This is what he did earlier,
and this is what he does regularly. Just up a little bit, and again, really good fastball hitter, pull hitter. Plays really well in this ballpark.
And got to move on to your Hyundai dealer during the Let's Go sales event. Find great savings on every new Elantra, but hurry, this sale ends April 30.
Yeah, any pop fly or fly ball has been well documented. It better be a team pop up or fly out, because I'm not seeing the ball that well. Kind of like playing in San Francisco or Oakland. High skies out there. Boy, and the wind, of course, in San Francisco, and occasionally in Oakland.
By the way, that baseball card we were talking about, the Holy Grail card of Honus Wagner, is not the most that a baseball card has ever sold for. It's the most a card's ever sold for at an auction. But Wayne Gretzky sold a Honus Wagner card for the most money ever. Gretzky held that card, and in 2007 sold it for $2.8 million in what was a private sale. The Honus Wagner card, of course, was distributed accidentally. That's what's made it so popular. It was done with alcohol and tobacco products. Honus Wagner didn't want his name affiliated with that. Those cards were produced at the factory, all destroyed, but about 125 of them somehow got out. And there are only half a dozen that have ever been found. Strike taken by Hardy. Hardy has hit into a double play and had that home run.
I better go look in the drawer.
Always. I saw some baseball player, and I can't remember, New York Times had it this morning, as a baseball player is going to try and get every Topps card signed from 1986 forward, an active player, which gives you a real advantage in getting signatures. That's going to be a wild pitch, and Jones will go down to second base.
Yeah, now 2 shots to get him in. Big difference. A little power curveball that he bounces, easy to do. And again, anticipating the bounce. Look how far out, and tried to center his body. Just hits the heel of his glove and over the left shoulder.
So the Orioles get a runner in scoring position with 1 down here in the 6th. And Hardy gets another RBI chance. 3-2 ball game. Orioles up by 1. Swarzak's pitch. Check it first. Nope. And a 3-1 count. Reimold waiting on deck. Hardy has a home run off Swarzak. Part of the 2 for 7 against him. 3-1 delivery. Way up high. Walking. 2 on and 1 down. Enjoy Major League savings over the cost of single game tickets by becoming an Orioles partial season plan holder. VIP orange carpet benefits, exclusive access to private events, early access to the ballpark on game days. You can skip the ticket lines, upgrade your summer today. For complete details on the partial season plans, call 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com/season. A real chance for the Orioles here in the 6th to add to that 1-run lead. They've got 5 hits in the ball game, out hitting the Twins 5-2. And Reimold coming up has one of those hits in the 2nd inning and scored. He has also grounded out.
It's a matter of time till he gets into one.
1 for 2 off Swarzak. Reimold takes the pitch for a strike.
Yeah, how about you go to the Twin Fest, which is kind of like the Oriole Fan Fest. You guys are wrestling around and you crack 2 ribs. It sets you back about a month or so.
Not a good idea.
No.
Well,
that's why he didn't really pitch that much this spring.
Swarzak with a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
You could see not overpowering. 90. Average in Major League fastball probably about 91 now.
Jones off second base. Foul back. Hardy off first. And a 1-2 count on Reimold. Nolan with 4 hits now. 16 at bats, looking for his first RBI of the season. He's moved between the DH role and left field. And he's got a chance with Jones, the lead runner, at second. One-two delivered up the middle, handled for 1, relay by Dozier, and they turn the double play. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 6 complete at Camden Yards, with the Orioles continuing to lead. The Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Nate McLouth is coming into the ball game. He's going to go into left field. Defensive replacement for the Orioles. Reimold out. Tight ball game.
Yeah, one of those one-run games. Again, a couple of walks, missed played or lost ball in the sun by Adam Jones. 2 runs scored with 2 outs. Back in the third, and then the Orioles able to have that 1-run lead because of the 3-run second inning.
Hamill digging in after some problems with control, getting behind hitters as the last 3 innings. Really worked well, helped out by a double play in the 5th. That'll be fouled off by Plouffe. Plouffe for 2.
Yeah, you talk so often about the lead batter. You get into the late innings, paramount to try to get him out if possible. And of course, the Twins want to do the opposite. Usually 49% of the time, first guy gets on, he scores over the course of a major league season.
Only one leadoff man has gotten on against Jason Hamill in the ball game. That was a walk in the 5th inning, and that was the inning where the Orioles turned the double play. And that one will miss. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Plouffe. Plouffe, Ramirez, and Dozier, 6, 7, 8 in the lineup for the Twins. And that one will go into the sea of orange on the foul ball. Jason Hamill's had one of the real good numbers last year, retiring 75% of leadoff batters in a ball game, and keeping that ratio going in this one. Here's the 2-2 to Plouffe and the hitting.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to dive in, you're going to get it all year long. That hit yesterday, I mean, his first move with 2 strikes is actually to take that left side. So again, this ball's not that far inside, and he just gets his arm in. So again, moving fastball, trying to protect the outside corner with 2 strikes. The last thing Jason wanted to do, but it hits him. Going to get hit a lot.
So Plouffe is on. So he was upset almost as much by where he was hit. That caught him right on that elbow. Plouffe was hit by a pitch 4 times last year. Jason Hamill has hit 2 in the game, and that's as many as he hit all last year in 20 starts. Ramirez backs off. Wilkin Ramirez has grounded out, struck out. Fine play made by Hardy against him in the 4th inning on that ground ball out, denied him a base hit. (1-0), runner not going, and the pitch is there for a strike.
And for Jason, he's got to stay out of that area. That's when you get a young hitter like Wilkin Ramirez, you just sometimes learn. You see where the bat head is, see how they react to your fastball. Throw them a breaking ball. How'd they take it? Did it look like they were out in front?
Plouffe's not very far off the bag over there. Ramirez jumped from Fort Myers up to Rochester last year. A ball, AA, and then AAA. Had 98 games at AAA where he hit .276, 15 homers, 54 RBIs. Ramirez, 27 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. 1-1 delivery. There goes the bat and the ball in different directions. Foul ball.
It's a big kid. About 230 pounds.
A lot of minor league games, over 900, with a .262 average in the minors. 1 ball, 2 strike count on him. Hamill trying to work here with that leadoff batter on at first. And this 1-run ball game. Orioles looking for the ground ball for 2. 1-2 delivered. And there's the ground ball. Hardy over, not going to get this one. McLouth will come on to get it, stopping the runner at second, and the Twins get the first two on here in the 7th inning. It's only their 3rd hit. Follow the Orioles all season long. MLB.com at bat, iPhone, iPad, Android. Scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details. Single by Mauer in the 1st inning, a double by Morneau in the 3rd, and now the single here in the 7th. The only hits the Twins have in the ball game, but they're only down by 1, and they've got 2 on, nobody out. Dozier, they'll play for the bunt. Machado and Davis in at the corners. He does square, and indeed does try, and fouls it off.
Yeah, what did Mike Bordick say on opening day? He said a lot of major league hitters do not know how to bunt. Perfect example. We saw Manny Machado successful sacrifice for the Orioles, but right there just kind of dropped the barrel of the bat. Not a very good angle.
He had 4 sacrifice bunts last season. Dozier did. Throw to second. Dozier down. Not in time to get the runner at second base. Going back, Plouffe.
Yeah, one of the hardest pitches. Everybody, I know when I first came up to the major league, they had a bunting situation, just throw him a high fastball. And the late Charlie Lau, who former one of our catchers but went on to be a great hitting instructor, said the sharp breaking ball, because it's hard to track. It's going down, but it's hard to keep the again the bat head higher than the handle.
1-1 delivery bunted. Good one. Manny Machado will go to first with it. Record the out to Casilla covering. There's the first sacrifice of the year for the Twins, putting runners at second and third with 1 out. A good job by Dozier. Florimon is due up. Looks like they're going to go to the bench. Parmelee coming out in the on deck circle to hit.
Yeah, 2 for 3 last night with a home run. Had base hits to the left. Home run came on a 3-0 fastball off of Chris Tillman.
So Parmelee up 2 in scoring position, and just to be sure on what they're going to throw here, Ricadier will go to the mound. Orioles just getting some movement in the bullpen. Just a reminder here on how the Orioles want to attack Parmelee. And Brian Mattis, the left-hander, is going to the mound to start warming up. Parmelee's got a 3-game hit streak. Had a very solid spring. First home run of the season, the 2-run shot against the Orioles. Oh, a very big at bat here in the top of the 7th inning. Parmelee's hitting in the 9 spot for Florimon, who had a couple of walks. Plouffe on at third base. Ramirez at second. Parmelee will take it up high for a ball.
Yeah, one of their better young hitters. We saw him last April, and then up and down. If you're with us over the weekend, 337 with 17 home runs, a lot of RBIs.
And a big towering fly ball is going to tie this ball game up. Markakis, he will make the catch. Plouffe will come in to score, and this is a 3-3 game as Parmelee picks up his fifth RBI of the season on the sac fly.
Yeah, I actually hit a pretty good curveball. I asked as a young hitter, what's your progression? He said reps. The pitching is so much better at this level. The more pitches you get to see, the better and the easier it is to relax. So he doesn't get both runs in, but does tie it up. And that's what the youngster at the plate's going to have to learn if he gets enough at bats.
Hicks is due.
Yeah, well, you hope not, but they do.
He's 1 for 25. 0 for 3 in this game, 0 for 13 in the series. Hicks is going to get a base hit into right center field. Markakis charging. The turn, Ramirez. Here's the throw, cut off. And Hicks delivers the RBI. That's his third run batted in. And the Twins have taken a one-run lead, 4-3.
Yeah, just able to fist it over the infield. That two-run single came up in at Target Field off the Tigers in an 8-2 win the other day. You take a look, they try to go in and pretty much stays in the middle of the plate and again doesn't overswing and finds a hole in the outfield defense.
So the Twins battle back here and have taken the lead. Couple of hits in the inning. That hit batter, Plouffe, started it out. He has already scored. That is going to be it for Jason Hamill, and the Orioles will go to the bullpen and Brian Mattis. Brian Mattis can do. He's out of the ball game. The Orioles starter working the 6 2/3 innings.
Yeah, I think the disappointment, and even though the ball was lost in the sun, it's just the 2 walks after the Orioles got him 3 runs. That'll linger on, but again threw the ball. I mean, you know, he was brilliant at times. As we look at Brian Mattis, talking about Jason Hamill, and then he just lost his rhythm for about an inning and a half. Mattis, thought he might be one of the starters. Terrific year last year. Once he came back to the big leagues and they used him in the bullpen. 19 strikeouts and 13 in the 3rd innings.
Brian appearing in his 2nd game of the year. He's worked an inning, giving up 1 run on 1 hit. No walks, no strikeouts early on. Runner on at first base, Hicks, who breaks out of that slump he was in with a big single, a go-ahead RBI for the moment. And here is Joe Mauer to face the left-hander. Mauer's got a 2 for 8 lifetime off Brian Mattis. And the pitch will be up high and inside for a ball. Nolan Reimold came out of the ball game with McLeod coming in, and Reimold reportedly has a right hamstring tightness that will be re-evaluated tomorrow.
Yeah, he hit a ground ball, and he can fly, and very gingerly running down to first base. So you kind of wonder. That's a pretty good day, but could have aggravated it last night when it was much cooler.
So that'll be one to look at after the ball game and into tomorrow. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Mauer. He's walked, scored, singled, hit into a double play. Swings through that one, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Tight ball games. These are good games to watch as far as excitement and closeness are concerned. Neither manager would prefer to have it that way. 1-2 the count.
Well, you have to give Pedro Hernandez a little bit of credit. He gives up those 3 runs, 2 of them on a home run to Hardy, and then kind of nibbles his way through 5 and doesn't give up any more runs. So his team all of a sudden thinks, hey, we're still in this game. If he adds a few more, not like the game is totally out of touch, but you have to encourage your hitters to think they have a chance to win the game.
And Mauer will go down swinging. So Mattis comes on, gets it taken care of, but 2 runs in. Twins take the lead. Our 7th inning stretch. Yet a move onto your Hyundai dealer during the Let's Go sales event. Find great savings on the all-new Elantra. But hurry, the event ends April 30. The Hyundai 7th inning stretch. To take on the Sox, Game 1, Wei-Yin Chen goes against Clay Buchholz. Our coverage on MASN HD will begin at 1:30 with O's Extra, presented by Jeep, followed by our game coverage at 2. All the access you need right here on MASN. So, off to Boston go the Orioles after this game. Look at a couple of notes. Koji Uehara, the former Orioles, retired all 6 batters faced. Total of 14 pitches, 2 appearances for them. The Red Sox, coming into today, had hit 2 home runs in the first 5 games. Today, they've hit 6. And Will Middlebrooks has had 3 of them. And the Red Sox record in opening days at Fenway Park, 58-43.
Yeah, one of the many injuries. The Red Sox had 29 guys on the DL last year. Middlebrooks, one of them, with a broken wrist. Anthony Swarzak, 14 pitches, and again got out of the inning on a nice little curveball. So the Orioles have their work cut out for them as they trail here in the 7th.
Swarzak's the pitcher of record, benefiting from the runs picked up in the top half of the inning. Escobar has come on to play at shortstop for Florimon. Florimon came out for the pinch hitter, and he'll be batting 9th. So in the bottom of the 7th, the Orioles will have Teagard and Casilla and Markakis due up. Both these teams coming in 3 wins and 2 losses on the early season. Short 3-game homestand for the Orioles. And then in the Red Sox series, Wei-Yin Chen, Clay Buchholz, we told you, will start Game 1. Jake Arrieta, Ryan Dempster get Game 2. Chris Tillman, Felix Dubron scheduled for Game 3. Tomorrow we'll have O's Extra at 1:30. The game's at 2. A day off Tuesday. Then Wednesday and Thursday, 7 o'clock time, 6:30 for O's Extra on Wednesday and Thursday. And then the Orioles will head to New York for the weekend. Natural.
Yeah.
All natural. Color coordinated, I'll say that. It's all orange.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Here is Taylor Teagarden, and that will be taken down low for a ball. Teagarden has grounded out, struck out Orioles have Wieters on the bench today, getting some rest, but obviously available. Talk about a short bench. The Orioles are going to have to do something with this, depending on Reimol's situation with that hamstring. I mean, McLouth had to come on to play, so they got Wieters and the one other player, Ryan Flaherty, on the bench.
Well, they will not play short at any time this year. It just not if they do anything like they did last year with what, 178 roster moves, 52 different players, 12 starting pitching.
Lonely over there.
Ryan Flaherty, well, pitchers like him. They'll talk to him.
2-1 delivery is swung on and missed. 34,431 today. 34,431. So a great opening 3-game set. 40,700 last night. Opening day sellout of 46.6.
Something like 121,000 weekend series for the Twins, getting back the way it used to be here at Camden Yards.
And with good reason. The Orioles finished last year and their start this year. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery, and Teagarden takes it and knew it. Swarzak gets the strikeout.
Yeah, trying to get on, and we saw Josh Renicky and the fastball and upper reaches of the strike zone.
Casilla will come up, turn around against the right-hander. Brian Dunsing up in the bullpen. Casilla hit just .224 from this side of the plate last year. The much better .296 average from the other side.
Yeah, Jim Presley said really was not getting the bat back in a hitting position, so hands are much higher than they were at the beginning of spring training. Trying to create some kind of bat speed. Even though he's a fast guy, 21 out of 22 when he gets on and tries to steal. So if he gets on, he's a threat.
Rick Showalter, talking about him before the game today and the fact he was making a start, said, well, let's see what he brings. He is someone still being evaluated, if you will, by the Orioles as to what part he's going to play on the team this year. And so his starts are important in order to try and get a fix on where he fits.
Yeah, I think obviously if he gets on, he can run a little bit. But again, the one thing that Robert Andino, who played second base most of the year, was defense. And he could pick it over at second base. And if you want to pitch a little bit better, you need a good defensive player.
That's going to be a base hit. Turned on that one. Ramirez up with it. A 1-out single for Casilla in the bottom of the 7th inning. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates today. J.J. Hardy, big 2 RBI homer that he has picked up. Jason Hamill, the 6 2/3 innings worked as the starter. And Adam Jones, who's delivered another day at the plate. 2 for 2 and on all 3 times up. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, 31826. That will be it. Swarzak is coming out. Dunsing is going to come in. He will face Markakis at the top of the order. 1 down and 1 on. will contribute $50 to support the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. To date, the Orioles have drawn 19 walks, a total of $950. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Brian Dunsing on, second time in the series.
Yeah, he's a very good left-handed reliever because he's got a good changeup, breaking ball, and fastball. Another one of the guys that, again, is out of the bullpen, low ERA. As a starter, he was 2-8 with an ERA of almost 7 runs a game, and it's kind of like it's the Dennis Eckersley theory. When Tony La Russa moved into the bullpen, a lot easier to get a guy out once than 2 or 3 times. It makes a lot of sense for a lot of pitchers.
Dunsing worked in game 1, an inning, gave up 2 hits. Runner at first base, 1 down. And Nick Markakis. Nick is 0 for 6 lifetime off the 30-year-old left-hander. Dunsing last year, left-handers 250, right-handers 310. They're turning into more of a specialist to get the left-handers out.
And you can get them out. Everybody thinks it's just a breaking ball, but can you command a 2-seam fastball down and in? Hard for the lefties to get to. Well, I learned that from Paul O'Neill after he won a batting title, hit 305 years. He said battingly, he said, number 1, if you're a left-handed hitter, there is gold if you can hit the ball the other way. And number 2, until you get to 2 strikes, hit the breaking ball that starts out at you, because the one in the middle of the plate, you'll look real silly.
Orioles with a runner at first here, drawing attention. Casilla. Twins lead by 1. And will keep their bullpen active. Casilla dancing a little bit over there and has walked off a pretty good lead. And it's there for a strike at the knees to Markakis.
Yeah, hard to run because it's just a little slide step. Slide step is when you just slide for Brian Dunsing that right leg. Leg kick doesn't come up a whole lot. You just slide it towards home plate, and if you work on that and get your arm out of your glove a little bit more quickly, you're still able to throw downhill.
Markakis 313 off lefties last year, so a real good matchup here. Dunsing's pitch, and that will miss. A pitcher who gets lefties out, a hitter who hits left-handers. 1-2. Orioles had the early 3-0 lead. Twins made it 3-2, and then through the middle innings it stayed 3-2. The Twins with 2 runs in the 7th. Parmalee the RBI sac fly. Hicks the go-ahead base hit. Casilla again back to the bag.
Well, Alexei certainly should know the move. Not that he's ever, well, maybe he has been in an inter-squad game, but they've been teammates, and you can see the high percentage. Yeah, though, I think it's easy to say that Buck Showalter doesn't like players that play out of control. This would be controlled aggression.
1-2 delivery. Markakis does it again. Another base hit into left field. Casilla will stop at second base. Markakis with a 2-hit ball game. 2 for 4, and the Orioles threatening to get to tie it up or get a lead back.
Well, everybody talking about how Chris Davis, prodigious home runs, lets the ball travel. Watch this. Really good pitch. You try to pull it, probably a ground ball to second base. You just slice it into left. Flicked it there. Nice plate coverage with 2 strikes.
Nick really divided it up last year with 38 hits to left, 48 to center, and 39 to right. Boy, that's using the whole field.
Yeah, and, well, he's always done that, which is why he's a .291 lifetime batting average.
Now Manny Machado 0 for 3 in the ball game. 2 on, 1 down. Machado will foul it away.
Actually make that .295 or .291 off lefties.
Now we'll go out and have a word. Machado hit .280 off left-handers last year. Got 50 at-bats against them. Had a triple that number against right-handers. He had .255. Orioles with a 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position so far today. Each team's left 4 on base. 34,000 getting into it. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Machado will take it. 1-1.
Yeah, there's the change. Kind of strange. He was late on the fastball, come back with a changeup, which usually would speed up the bat.
Trying to hold the runner close. Shortstop Escobar at second. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and the ball's going to be popped up. Again, remember, this sky has been a problem. It'll be hauled in by Dozier. Big out. 2 down. Runners have to stay at first and second.
Yeah, Brian Dunsing gets away with a hanging breaking ball.
Seventh inning or later, all good. The Orioles particularly good as a team in a very tough category. Runners in scoring position and 2 down. The O's come into this game hitting .348 in those situations, and that's where we are right now. 2 down, runners at first and second. Chris has an opportunity to add another big RBI. He's got 17 so far, none today. He sits safely in 5. Not today, not yet. Davis with an 0 for 3 against the left-hander Dunsing. And we'll take the pitch outside for a ball.
Yeah, I love his refrain. I'm going to try not to do too much. And by trying not to do too much, he's done a lot.
Setting numbers into the stratosphere record-wise for the Orioles. 1-0 delivery, and that'll be fouled back on a big cut.
And it's kind of a relaxed cut. He's now become, I mean, he looks so relaxed. He looks like Evan Longoria. Of course, he's a right-handed hitter, but you think Evan's going to take a little nap. Maybe
fall down.
Yeah, and, you know, they both have a little bit open stance. And just try to keep much tension out of your swing as you can.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Chris Davis waiting inside. Underneath the arms on him, and a 2-1 count from Dunsing.
And that's really the way you throw a baseball. On your fingertips, nice supple wrist. When you start grinding the sawdust out of the bat handle, that's when you usually have problems. You can look at the forearms on a hitter and kind of tell that. Kind of pitching, get white knuckles, you're gripping it too tight.
Here's the 2-1 delivery, foul back. Casilla will head back to second. Markakis back to first. Davis now with a 2 ball, 2 strike count from Dunsing. Late inning pressure situations for both of these ball clubs now in a 1-run ball game. Orioles out hitting the Twins 7-4, but down by a run. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and just keeps it alive, but does. Right off the end of the bat on a ball breaking down and away. These have not been easy games for managers on either side. These Oriole games, they've been tough, tight, seesaw leads, and late inning heroics. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Davis. And a chopper towards second. Dozier there. And Dunsing works his way out of it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 are left on base. It remains a Twins 1-run lead.
the second home run of the year. 2-run shot by J.J. Hardy, and Nick Markakis, the ground ball, first RBI of the year to make it 3-0. Nolan Raimo scoring, and then after a couple of walks, the lost ball in the sun. Jonesy can't get it, not particularly happy. And then another 2-run inning as Aaron Hicks, third RBI, as Wilkin Ramirez scores. So they add 2 in the 7th. A couple of 2-run innings for the Twins. And again, Hamill starting for the Orioles. Now the pitcher of record, and Pedro Hernandez, even though he struggled a little bit, managed to only give up the 3 runs in 5 innings.
Brian Mattis will work to Willingham. Morneau and then Doma due up. Josh Willingham will take the pitch down low, hit by a pitch. He has struck out and grounded out. Willingham now in the series, a couple of hits and 9 at bats. Mattis's pitch to him will miss away. Willingham at .231 off the lefties. Much better against right-handers. And that will be taken in. That's going to miss, and the count goes to 3-0. Willingham 2 for 6 off Mattis. One of those hits a home run.
Since Parmalee hit that 3-0 pitch last night, you're wondering, all the Twins have the green light. And just in case outside for, yeah, if Brian Mattis is really going to help this ball club, we know he can get the lefties out. He's certainly capable of getting both lefties and righties out as a former starting pitcher. It's going to be something he's going to have to do. Not just because otherwise you have a limited guy in your bullpen. So he's certainly capable of pitching multiple innings, and has to prove to Buck Showalter he can do that. Immense help of this ball club.
Darren Mastriani's come in as the pinch runner at first base for Willingham, and Pedro Strop getting up in the bullpen for the Orioles as the wheels begin to turn here in this 1-run ball game. And here's Morneau.
Mastriani really has some wheels.
And foul back in a big cut.
Yeah, did foul a ball off his left ankle, so he's been getting that healthy over at first base, but he stole 21 bases for him last year.
Mastriani on to lead off as a pinch runner on Willingham's walk. Morneau, the 2 RBI double, came in the 3rd inning. He too has had a home run off Brian Mattis. And Morneau is going after another one right there. Morneau, the 1 for 5, a homer off the Oriole left-hander. Two strike count on Morneau. Domet waiting on deck. Here's the 0-2. Runner stays and got him looking.
Yep. Thought it might be away. A little wow. And it was a strike, but it was outside.
So Morneau heads back. Domet heads in. The DH in this game's 0 for 3. He's had a 3 for 11. There goes the runner. Big jump. Throw down Teagarden. A good one into the runner. Got him! What a play made by Casilla. Diving to get it as Teagarden put it into the runner, and the ball came right on his back.
Yeah, if you're not there early, you can't be in position to dive back and catch this. Taylor Teagarden to throw. It tails a little bit. And watch him there. As he's catching it, he drops the tag on him. So again, really quick release. Got him on the top of the leg, the calf.
Chris Guccione, the second base umpire, right on the play.
Nice tag.
Ryan Domet will take the pitch, and it goes to 2-0.
I saw you walking out of Ron Gardenhire, the Twins manager's office today, and I was in a couple of minutes early. He said, I will never, ever start a runner when Wieters is catching in Baltimore again.
Yep.
And Wieters wasn't catching. And it's still.
Now he's never going to start a runner, period.
That's right. The only time you can run is warming up before the game.
They've had no success stealing bases. Leaders had a couple of big throwouts, toss-outs in the ball game yesterday, and again Teagarden getting it done here. Here's the 2. Nope, Domit's got to wait. 2-1, 2 down. Real help for Brian Mattis from his catcher. And a 3-1 count on Ryan Domit. There are 2 away. Plouffe is waiting on deck. Opponents against the Orioles now are just 1 out of 5 in stealing bases. Here's the 3-1 delivery into short. Hardy. Well, the good defense really helps the cause. Only 3 up here in the 8th inning. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Twins lead is 1. And a great tag to get that second out. That play made by Teagarden, oftentimes defensive plays, Jim, put a little spark in the offense in the next half inning, and if anything's going to do it, the play by Teagarden and Casilla should.
Well, that and the little offense since they trail by a run, but well, you know, again, Casilla can be very flashy, but that was a great play, and then the throw by Taylor kind of tailed back into the runner, but at the end of the day, they need to get a couple of runs, and you know, we're going to see Burton pitch for him, who pitched for him last year and actually was very, very good, 3-2 record with a 2.18 ERA, and he strikes out a lot of guys. So again, this is, you know, if they're going to win, and we're talking to Ron Gardenhire, this is again to get to their closer, Glenn Perkins, who we saw last night. These are the type of guys that have to do what all the Orioles were able to do last year.
He's in Strope's position with the Twins. He is their setup man, at least to start the year, and they've tried not to overload by having these guys pitch. They'd like not to pitch them back-to-back days early on, and certainly not 3 days in a row. So that's what Gardenhire's been trying to work with, and Burton's available as he was last night for this one. So we'll see how it goes. The Orioles will try and get back here, and Mastriani stays in the ballgame. He'll be in left field. Good job by Brian Dunsing. He came on with a couple of big outs in that 7th inning, and now Adam Jones will lead it off for the Orioles. Jones, Pierce, and Hardy are due up for the O's. Another outstanding day at the plate for the Orioles center fielder. Double, single, walk, and a run scored. Has hit successfully in all 6 of the ball games, batting .500 now with 7 RBIs. 0-1 delivery to him. A check swing comeback is bobbled and still makes the play. Burton went over and got it, and Morneau, the first baseman, went down and pulled it up.
Just the way you work on it in spring training.
And I'm wondering if he got hurt. I mean, a very, very awkward play. Now, he had shoulder problems coming into last year, and there's your check swing. And again, the dive to his right by Justin Morneau. This little curveball. You just kind of wonder. I mean, he could have hurt a lot of things. Falling down, hip, leg. Appears to be all right.
For the reasons we were talking about, last thing the Twins need is to lose Jared Burton, their setup man. Dunsing, by the way, did a good job as he worked his way through a tough last inning. Hernandez went 5, the starter, 3 runs, 4 hits. Swarzak inning in the third, couple of hits, no runs, a walk and a strikeout for him. And that is taken for a strike by Pierce. And Dunsing worked that last inning, giving up a couple of hits. Steve Pierce a walk and has popped out twice and puts that one by him in an 0-2 count.
Yeah, pretty select group for Jared Burton. Again, there were 7 relievers that pitched over 50 appearances, had an ERA of under 2.2, and then the batting average was under 190. He only had 184 off him last year. It was lights out for him.
Career high in appearances with the 64 times that he came on. So the Twins trying to manage the game here at the end and protect the 1-run lead. 4-7-0 for the Orioles. 3-7-0 for the Orioles. 4-4-1. Twins have taken advantage of the 4 hits they've had in this ball game. More importantly, they've taken advantage of free passes, 2 walks, and a hit batter.
Yeah, that kind of
scored in this game.
Yeah, got going in the 7th, and the 2 walks scored in the 2nd. Doesn't take much if you don't score a lot of runs. Orioles have yet to fail to score at least 5 runs in the ball game.
Twins are trying to undo a tough record they've had here in this ballpark and against the Orioles overall. They haven't won a series against the Orioles since July of 2010. Pierce is gone.
Yeah, when you have the curveball that he was able to get Jonesy out with, and then watch this splitter. Just pulls it down, fingers split, watch it tumble. He Pierce right over it. Well, these are the kind of games that if the Orioles had the lead, they were able to win, and the kind of games that, again, the Twins want to win.
J.J. Hardy. He has walked, hit into a double play, and had the 2-run homer. That one fouled back into the seats. 2 down in the 8th inning. Hardy a 1-for-6 lifetime against the veteran right-hander. And down low to him. 5 RBIs for Hardy. 3 of those coming in this series. He has hit now in 4 consecutive ball games. 1-1 delivery. Hardy will take the pitch outside. 2-1.
Yeah, really hoping for a fastball inside middle. That's his strength.
Boston has completed their game with a 13-0 win over Toronto, so they will be on their way back home for the opener at Fenway tomorrow. The Orioles will be there. Hardy down to third and foul. I felt all along in spring training the Red Sox are going to be a better team than I think a lot of people thought. I think their offense is there, and I think they're going to score even more. David Ortiz is making his way back. He already is on a rehab. They're real happy with the way things are going for him. Yesterday he ran the bases, hitting drills. So he's going to start his rehab. 2-2 delivery, and that's going to be fouled away. The Orioles are going to probably see Drew coming back while they are there. Drew has been out, but is expected to be back in the lineup on Wednesday. He's got a couple more games to play at Double-A. He'll do that in Portland, Maine, and then Stephen Drew will probably be in the lineup Wednesday against the Orioles.
Yeah, he had the concussion complications all spring, and well, they just can't possibly have the kind of injuries they had last year. And the other thing is Buchholz pitched very well. He had an 8.0 ERA in April last year. Orioles kind of battered him around in early May. He started that 17-inning game. And then John Lester wasn't John Lester, and he's already 2-0 this year. So again, if they sort out their starting pitching, and they always seem to be able to get runs.
3-2 delivery, swung on and missed. So Burton comes on, gets a couple of strikeouts, and retires the side in order. 8 complete at Camden Yards, with the Twins leading it by 1. Orioles baseball on MASN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Visit OCOcean.com and click on Lucky Summer of 13 for special deals and discounts. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here as the Orioles trailing by 1. We'll look for the late comeback, and they'll rely on Pedro Strop to try and shut the Twins down in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, third appearance of the year. Struggled a little bit. Didn't get hit that hard in Tampa, but well placed baseballs, and then came in the other night and was a lot better on opening day. Real good stuff. Great command. Windup was much sounder.
He will have Trevor Plouffe leading it off against him. Plouffe hit batter, 7th inning, started the 2-run inning when he was hit by a pitch and would score, and will take it up high for a ball. Plouffe's had an 0 for 3 against Pedro Strop. Here's the 1-0, fouled into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strikeout. Plouffe will take that one in the air to right. Nick Markakis will put it away. 1 down, 9th inning. Let's update you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. So far, it looks like this. Still time for you to text in your vote, A, B, or C, 31826. Results on the O's Extra Post-Game Show. Hardy with that big home run that he picked up in the 2nd inning. And Ramirez takes the inside corner fastball for a strike. He singled and scored in the 7th. 1 for 3 today. He's looking at that R.A. Dickey line in that 13-0 win by Boston over Toronto. Dickey, of course, joining the Toronto Blue Jays, and it hit him. Wow. So Ramirez immediately turned around to Ron Koppel, the home plate umpire, said that hit me, and now But Showalter's going to come out.
I don't think so. Well, either you saw it or you didn't. Don't need a hitter to tell you. I mean, this ball is pretty much down the middle of the plate. How did that ball hit him?
Wasn't even close.
No, I mean, I'm watching a guy swinging a ball thigh high inside middle. That's a horrible call. And if one of his other partners didn't see it.
So Buck Showalter goes back. But that didn't look even close. And Ramirez.
Unless it was catcher's interference.
Unless it was catcher's interference.
I think that's what it must have been.
He may have tipped the glove and felt it.
Yeah.
Well, see how that plays here. With one down and Dozier up. Brian Dozier, sacrifice very important in the 7th inning. He put those first 2 runners into scoring position, and they got them both home on a sac fly and a single. 1-0 pitch. Had him leaning away. Stroke catches the corner with it. Dozier 0 for 2 officially at the plate.
Yeah, you would think over the course of a year that this would be a guy that Ron Gardenhire would be able to hit and run, move runners, start runners. And again, the whole purpose of that is somebody's going to have to cover.
1-1 fouled away. Coming over, Markakis, and that's going to fall in behind the tarp. See him making the long run, couldn't get there in time. Closer Glenn Perkins picked up the save in the ball game last night. A 1-run game. 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss.
Pretty nice little slider there. Straight down. Boy, how fortunate were the Orioles to get Pedro Strop at the end of 2011. From the Rangers. That kind of tells you the arms they had. Of course, Koji Uehara, Michael Gonzalez went down there. Koji now with the Red Sox, as we saw with that note earlier.
They wish they had a couple of those arms back right now. Is Eduardo Escobar. And Escobar will get his first at bat here. Came on as a defensive replacement. Escobar, 3 hits in 6 at bats, including a double, 3 RBIs. Batting in the 9 spot, 2 down. Ramirez on at first base. He put that one in the air to left field. McCarthy's playing in. He backs up a couple of steps and will make the play. No runs, no hits. A base runner left on. Bottom of the 9th inning. All right, sports fans, put those seatbelts on. Buckle up. Here we go.
Extra post game, bottom of the 9th coming up. Another 1-run game with the Orioles on the wrong side of this, but you can tie it or win it in a walk-off in the 9th inning. Kind of a sloppy game early on, but the Birds are still in it.
They really have. They just haven't had that energy today after the 2-run home run by Hardy. The team just kind of went flat. We haven't gotten that key hit at the right time, but it's the 9th inning and things could change.
Lower third of the lineup coming up. Let's see how it turns out. Back upstairs we go to Gary.
All right, Jim and Rick, let's see if the Orioles can get it done here. They've got to do it against the closer who came on and got the save in the 6-5 Minnesota win last night.
Yeah, he was throwing 93, 94. He's you go all the way back to August of last year. He's only had one blown save, 13 out of 14. Again, a little bit like Brian Dunsing, even though he throws a tad harder, more comfortable relieving. So again, a little breaking ball. He again throws a lot of strikes, and you're going to have to beat him. Not going to. Imagine he's going to get behind a lot of hitters. Of course, the Orioles would love to have that.
So Perkins will work against Nate McLouth.
They'd also love to have Nate with his speed get on.
Nate coming in for Reimold with a hamstring problem will get his first at bat, hitting in the 7th spot, and the pitch is in there for a strike. Bottom of the 9th inning, and the Orioles hoping. They've out-hit the Twins 7-4, but trail 4-3. And McLouth will take it inside. McLouth has faced Perkins only once, gone 0 for 1. But Showalter on that top step. Lefties hit only 192 off Perkins. Right-handers 241 last year. Matt Wieters available. Is coming out into the on-deck circle for Teagarden. And off the mask. Just the way the day started for Mauer. Thirty-year-old left-hander. Perkins delivers. McLouth takes it and goes full.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will help out the Orioles. This will be a fastball. Got to throw something over for a strike. Former #1 draft choice. 26.
And he struck him out.
Yep, with a little extra. 95, and trust your stuff. And here it is. Try to hit it. He got up there pretty quickly.
Matt Wieters, pinch hitter. Wieters with a very solid start, as you saw right there. And the inside corner strike from Perkins. Wieters with the 0 for 1. Only one at bat against Perkins in his career. Casilla, the #9 hitter, waiting on deck. Throw the bench down to Ryan Flaherty. 0-1 delivery down to third. That is a foul ball.
Ooh, very close. You look out at the scoreboard, and when in the history of the game of the last year's Cy Young Award winners started games where both of their teams respectively lost 13-0?
Probably never.
Price and Dickey.
Well, Dickey today went 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 8 runs on 10 hits, walked 2 and struck out 5. So obviously there wasn't a lot of flutter in the knuckler.
Yeah, and David Price started after Tampa won the first 2 games against Cleveland and lost 13-0.
Wieters with the 0-2 count. 2 down.
Well, there you go. So you establish 95, and then bottom drops out of the hook. Very comfortable with this kind of stuff. I can see why. Trying to make it 14 out of 15 saves.
So the Twins looking to take this series 1 out away from doing it. As we said, first series win if they could get it since July of 2010. 2 down. And on the inside corner for a strike to Casilla. Orioles have left 6 on base today, 5 by the Twins. Swarzak would get the win if they could hang on to the lead. A little number towards second base. Dozier's got it. Will make the play, and this ball game is over. And the Twins come away with a victory. Swarzak wins it. Perkins 2 saves in the series. Hamill, the starter for the Orioles, will take the loss and go 1-1. And the Twins, battling the Orioles, take 2 one-run wins here, and the Orioles are now 0-3 in one-run ball games. So there's your final. Join us again tomorrow. Morrow's action. The Birds head north to Beantown to open up at Fenway with the Red Sox. It'll be Wei-Yin Chen against Clay Buchholz, the starters. Coverage 1:30 on MASN HD. O's Extra, presented by Jeep, followed by our game at 2 o'clock. Our final score here, the Twins come away with a 4-3 win. This has been a MASN presentation. Jim and Rick are standing by. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up. It will be a wild day tomorrow in Boston at Fenway, where the sellout crowd will be on hand to welcome the team back from Toronto. We'll be there as the Orioles look for the win in Beantown. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, adieu.